Second day of the Giants' mandatory minicamp, and all eyes on the guys doing that. That's a touchdown. I didn't break the equipment. Here's Eli Manning after today's workout. Touchdown.
I think it's going well. I think we're doing some good things, hitting some. Feel like we're getting some good plays. You know, throwing a deep ball and some of those things well. You know, always some room for improvement. You miss a couple throws here and there. Just getting back on the timing of things with receivers and throwing live action and throwing some one-on-ones. So. There's always some things you'll want to improve on or throws you wish you had back. But I think for the most part, feel good. Just comfortable within the offense with the protections, with getting everything kind of lined up and the plays called. Which is different from last year in this time, where you're just trying to figure out what was coming in. So I think guys are playing fast and off to a good start.
Comments from Eli Manning. Time now to bring in our Giants reporter, Madelyn Burke. MSG 150 Speed Dial presented by Files by Verizon. Madelyn, thanks so much for joining us. Your reaction to what you saw today?
Oh, thanks for having me. And yeah, as Eli mentioned, obviously being in the second year of this offensive system has made huge differences, not just for him as a quarterback, but also for some of the younger receivers that are in this system as well. And it seems like the chemistry is really developing. Eli's looking sharp. Offensive coordinator Mike Shula spoke to the media today, and he said, hey, Eli looked great out there. They're really happy with what they've seen. Also, Daniel Jones, the young quarterback, has been really impressing. Yesterday he took off on a read option and broke off a long run that would have been a touchdown, which had the entire team very hyped. Alex Tanney also has looked really good. So all the quarterbacks in general are really showing up, playing well. Daniel Jones, again, as we were just watching that film of him, though, a lot of people are kind of praising just how quickly he's picking things up. And yes, his demeanor is very Eli Manning-like. His game, though, he's got a little bit of versatility, that using his legs, he's been connecting on the long ball, the long passes pretty well so far in training camp, and it's been a lot of fun to watch.
That's exactly where I was going next, Madelyn. Is the comparisons body language wise and the way they are, Eli and Daniel Jones, but on the field, do you see they look the same? And from what we just saw there running-wise, I think there is a little bit of a difference.
Yeah, I think definitely the running-wise is a big element that we've seen from Daniel Jones. And, of course, he's young and he's got a lot of physicality. And, Mike Shula said that he's really impressed with his athleticism. Obviously, they're saying, Daniel Jones is what they expected when they took him at 6 overall. But the way his athleticism, the way he moves his feet, his quickness, he says, I don't care what sport you're playing. If you're playing a pickup game of anything, Daniel Jones would be one of the first guys you take on your team because of just how sheerly athletic he is. And, again, also he's really finding his touch. You've seen a lot of growth in him from rookie minicamp to now. And the way that he's finding his touch and connecting with these receivers, he had some great passes earlier today. He had some long balls, Russell Shepard had a nice little juke and a nice catch. And Darius Slayton, we've seen a lot from this young wide receiver as well, a lot of speed. So it's a lot of fun watching these young guys connect.
Is there something different, though, being around the team this year compared to in the past couple of years? Because we know there's been so many changes. No Odell there, no Landon Collins, over years, no OV, no Snacks. The team does have a lot different of, I guess you'd say, even a leadership going on the field, off the field. So can you feel that yet, or is it way too soon?
I think it is a little bit too soon. I do think that it is, quiet, and it is kind of at this point of the year where there's a lot. I mean, it's June, so it's hard to kind of tell, and there aren't pads on yet. These guys are still kind of figuring out and installing the offense. I think the biggest difference, though, is the comfort level and the speed, as Eli mentioned at the beginning of this segment, the speed in which these guys are playing, because they're not second guessing, they're not overthinking it. There's a lot more familiarity around. And that is definitely palpable. And those leadership roles are still kind of there with, Saquon Barkley last year as a rookie stepped in and immediately kind of filled that leadership space, even though he was in his first year in the league. And he's been a leader. Eli Manning as well on the defensive side of the ball. Alec Ogletree, he spoke to the media today too. And he was talking about how, there's a lot of young guys on the defensive side of the ball. And it's kind of making him feel young again. But he's also kind of assuming that big brother role, especially when they're bringing in some more Georgia guys like DeAndre Baker, that DB that he's like, oh, he went to the greatest school in the world. So clearly he's got an advantage as an elite football player.
You mentioned Baker out of Georgia, another of the first-round draft picks. What are the expectations for him, you think? Yeah,
the Giants traded into the first round to get DeAndre Baker, and Dave Gettleman was very excited that that was a possibility. He's very quick. He's very competitive. He's somebody who he looks at these receivers and he says, I have so much respect for him, so I am not going to let him get his hands on a single ball. He's been very active. He's a ball hawk. He had a lot of huge plays yesterday. The coaches were really praising him, and today as well. And he's been out there really kind of shining in this area. But again, no pads, so a lot remains to be seen, but a lot of positive things so far.
Yeah, it's going to be a very young defense, no question about it. And on the offensive side, we go back there one more time. Saquon Barkley, you did mention him a little bit. Does he still jump off the page, or have we gotten used to the things that he can do? And again, there's no tackling going on, so we don't see him breaking tackles, but he still has that amazing speed.
He's got that amazing speed and those amazingly large quads. Yeah. So it's still one of those things. You're out here and you're like, man, this man is built like an action figure, and he moves with such grace and finesse that it is really just, you still are just in shock and awe and watching him. And, you know, obviously he is going to maintain that role as an integral part of this team's offense. But, you know, they're trying to make sure to balance it so that they don't wear him out. So they don't, you know, run off all the tread off his tires in the first couple of years of his career. They're being very mindful of that as they kind of look forward towards the season as a coaching staff. But this team is really excited about what Saquon's going to bring into year 2 as well. I talked to him also the other day, and I said, hey, how do you come out of a record-setting rookie season and improve? Because he's always talking about how he wants to get better and get better. He says, you know what? I just want to remove that from my memory, put the blinders on, and just start from scratch and just want to be the best. And he's like, I'd rather have 1,000 yards and a winning season than 2,000 yards and a 5-11 season. So he's very, very team first, assuming that leadership role. And I think we've got a lot more exciting things to see from Saquon this year.
That's why you love him. What a great attitude.
Mal, hey, thanks so much. Great to have you on.
Thanks for having me.
For more great videos from the MSG 150, check out right there. And remember, our show is on Monday through Thursday, 8 to 10:30 p.m. on MSG Network and MSG Go.